What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Barbados Walker. I'm your host, Andrew, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about my book, The Move to Barbados ebook that we've been promoting on this channel. Now, I wrote this book from my own experience and also after doing some research on Barbados. And in this video, I'm going to be going through all 16 chapters of the book. Now, the book is divided into 16 chapters, 4 parts. Part 1 has chapters 1 to 3. Part 2 has chapters 4 to 6. Part 3 has chapters 7 to 11. And the final part is chapters 12 to 16. So if you're thinking about moving to Barbados and you want to know whether this book is going to help you do that, then stay tuned for this video. Also subscribe because I make other kinds of videos as well talking about Barbados. Okay, let's get started. So part 1 is called Foundation and Preparation. Foundation and Preparation. This part simply addresses everything you need to do, your basic research before coming to the island, right? That's what this part covers. So the first chapter is Welcome to Your Relocation Journey. That's chapter 1. Okay, so I will talk about the structure of the book, how I'm consolidating different things that I had to find on the internet, because before coming to Barbados, I did a lot of research and I didn't find anything, like literally nothing that was helpful. And so I had to collect some of this information myself, and I also give you stuff about, the government, fun facts, FAQs, blogs, and stuff like that. So chapter 1 is just a general introduction. Chapter 2, now we go to Barbados at a glance. So in chapter 2, I talk about the basics that you need to know about Barbados. For example, the geography, the time zone, the language that is spoken here. It's English, by the way. And you also have Bajan Creole, right? So the government structure, the flags, the symbolism, the big industries, including tourism, financial services, light industry, etc. I talk about the economy, political stability, the expert-friendly infrastructure, stuff like that. So many stuff. So it's a broad overview of the entire country and what you need to know. By the way, if you're watching the video, we started driving from Sheraton and we are going towards the Grantley Adams Airport, right? So Grantley Adams International Airport. So that's what you're watching on the video right now. We're driving through Sheraton. Right now we're going to take a right turn and then we are going to go on the highway, and then from there it's straight to the airport. All right. So in chapter 3, I address what it costs to live here, right? So I establish a baseline monthly budget for a single person, and then we talk about rent, utilities, Wi-Fi, food, phone bill, etc., etc. And then the exchange rate, the things that will make your cost of living either go up or come down. We're talking about places you're staying, location, eating out, cooking, appliance, age in your building, imported electronic goods versus the ones you buy here, US prices, all of those things. I talk about basically what it costs to live here if you're from different lifestyles. I think that's the best way to put it, from different lifestyles. And so this chapter alone will help you do all your calculations and all your maths that you need to do before you get here, because I always say in the videos that you should know what it's going to cost you to live here for the first 90 days. And if you have that amount in mind, nothing is going to surprise you, okay? So after I've given you everything, Barbados at a glance, what it costs to live here, what you need to prepare and everything before you come here, then we now go into part 2, which is entry and travel requirements. Chapter 4 is the first chapter in part 2, which is visa and entry options. Here I go through the different kinds of visa And I also go through, there's one golden rule that I talk about, which is that a visa does not guarantee entry into Barbados. The immigration officer decides that. So the reason I'm saying this is because I have seen a lot of situations where people are given a visa to come to Barbados, and then when they reach the airport, they're asked some questions like provide this document, provide that document, whatever. And they start to get angry. Like, I already have a visa. I already contacted somebody and they said, once you have a visa, you can enter. And they're giving the immigration officer attitude and stuff like that. Let me tell you, the visa says you can come to the airport in Barbados, but the immigration officer may still want to check your documents and all of that. So don't give them an attitude, just cooperate. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this on this channel, but I think that is very important that if you've done the work and you've gotten the visa and you have your documents, don't mess yourself up at the airport simply because you can't be patient. Okay, so that's just one thing I thought I should include. But I also talk about general entry requirements, stuff like passport validity, return ticket, proof of funds, insurance, address, child travel consent if you're traveling with a child, stuff like that. I break it down in details. And then I also go into visa categories. So visa-free entry, tourist visa, student visa, work permits, CARICOM skill certificate, welcome stamp, which includes the remote income visa, everything. There's also the special entry and residence permit categories. So I talk about those categories, including the investors, property owner, skilled professional, stuff like that. Okay, so this section, the goal is to help you know which one is best for you. Now, you may qualify for more than one kind. You may qualify for like 2 or 3 kinds, but when you know what each one of them entails, you know that, okay, this is exactly what I'm coming to Barbados to do, and this is what I want to do in Barbados, or the kind of job I want to have, or the kind of life I want to live. And so it will help you to make the best decision for yourself. So after you've chosen the visa and you know what you need and you've gotten that part figured out, you go to chapter 5, which is documents that you must have at the airport. So when you get your visa, you need to get some documents, and I give you an entire checklist that you should come and how much cash to bring for your first few days in Barbados. And I explain everything because you may be coming from a country where you don't use USD, you're not coming from US, you're not coming from UK, maybe you're coming from India, Pakistan, Nigeria, South Africa, Uganda, Kenya, wherever, and you're coming to Barbados. I help you understand how the financial system works so that you know how much to bring in cash before you can access banking and ATMs and all of those things. So you don't get stranded at all, right? And you don't overpay or get overcharged for certain things. Okay, so chapter 6 is what to pack and what to leave behind. So in this chapter, I talk about both, things that are legal, illegal. I talk about that legal, illegal things like don't bring firearms, like don't bring illegal drugs and stuff like that. But I also talk about things that many people don't know. For example, electronics, luxury goods, prescription medications, stuff like that. People don't actually know what to do and how it is regulated in Barbados, the prices in Barbados, etc. So I talk about all those things and what you need to know about every single one of them so that you don't make a huge mistake in when you move to Barbados. Okay, so for example, let me just give you one example from that chapter. If you're coming with, if you're going to need electronics like speakers or musical instruments, or maybe you want to buy the latest iPhone or something like that, those things are better off if you buy them outside and then bring them into Barbados, because due to the customs and the tax that is going to be levied on those goods, you may end up paying more than 2 times the cost of those goods. right? And if you were planning that, okay, you don't need to carry all this stuff and you are just going to move to Barbados and you can buy them in Barbados, yes, many of them you can actually buy in Barbados, but you're going to end up buying them significantly more expensive than you would have bought them. You would have had them if you just brought them with you from outside. So I talk about what these goods are in details, and then you can read all about that there. Okay. So after you know everything, entry and travel requirements, what to pack, documents you need to have, visa entry, etc., then we move to part 3. Part 3 is your first 72 hours. So your first 72 hours in Barbados, what you need to know, stuff you need to do. So under your first 72 hours, we go to chapter 7, staying safe on the island. Okay, this one, I should give a caveat that Barbados is not a risky place, like it's not a dangerous island where you have to be wondering, like, are they going to steal my stuff? Are there pickpockets? Are there gangsters? And you don't have to worry about that. For the most part, it's generally safe. I mean, every country has idiots and stupid people, right? But for the most part, Barbados is safe. But what I talk about in this chapter is things that affects everybody. So, for example, there is a hurricane season right now. We are entering the hurricane season right now, and you need to know how to stay safe during the hurricane season. You need to know basic stuff like what not to do in certain areas, how to keep yourself safe at night, how to avoid common scams, emergency numbers, police, fire, ambulance, general safety things that even locals practice. And you coming from a country, maybe you don't understand how it works in Barbados, or if you're coming from a country that is more dangerous or is more unsafe than Barbados, you probably know most of these things already because you have already lived your life like that. But if you're coming from a relatively calmer society or a relatively calmer part of the society you grew up in, you may not know some of these basic things to avoid. So I included them here, like basic home security and stuff like that. Okay, so after that, then in chapter 8 I talk about money, banking, and payments. So how to the ATMs, to the best bank to access, how to access ATMs, easiest bank account opening for foreigners, where you can use your cards, where you need to pay cash, how to pay for government services, private utilities. This is for people who are relocating, right? If you're staying here more long term. So you need to know all of this stuff, right? And it's going to make your life significantly easier because for government services and utilities, for example, many people don't know that you can actually pay everything online without leaving your house. And when I first came here, I used to have to go to town and pay my bills there, like physically go there. But there are actually ways that you can do it online. So I talk about money, banking, how to open a local bank account, payments, everything that has to do with money, essentially, in this chapter. Then chapter 9, we talk about getting around the island. So one thing that a lot of foreigners complain about is figuring out the ZR vans and the minibuses and the transport board buses. And this is a problem that every foreigner faces because you don't really have like a public bus route system that is very intuitive and self-explanatory when you first land on the island. So for many people, they have to figure it out by trial and error over a couple of days or sometimes even weeks. So instead of you going through all of that in the beginning, missing buses, getting on the wrong bus, appearing at the wrong place, trying to figure out what routes to take or whatever, this chapter is just going to help you with every part of transportation in Barbados. So I talk about ZR vans, mini buses, transport board buses, which I also call the government buses, and how to, if you're going to drive your own car, I talk about how to rent a car, or if you're buying a car, how to register your car, everything about how to get a driver's license in Barbados if you plan to drive in Barbados, you know, the difference between the parking rules, the right-hand drive adjustment system, everything you need to know about transport in Barbados, from your own personal vehicle to public transport. You get the general gist of the matter, so that from day one you can enter into a bus and go wherever you want to go very easily. You don't have to do that getting lost, looking like a tourist, figuring it out thing that happens to most people. Okay, then we go to chapter 10. Chapter 10 is where I cover shopping for the essentials. So these are the things that you do. Remember, all of this thing is under your first 72 hours, right? Things that you will need to do as soon as you get here. So getting your SIM card, if you're staying here long-term, home Wi-Fi setup, how to get something in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. if you need something, right? All of those stuff. Grocery options, where to shop, where has the cheapest, groceries, where to get the cheapest deals and stuff like that. If you're more budget conscious and you don't want to blow all your money the first time you get here, these are for you. So again, these are for people who want to move to Barbados, staying long term. If you're here for just a short term vacation, you're going to be out of the island in like the first 1 week or so. So you're probably just going to do touristy activities, and you don't care how much you're spending because you've saved for it, right? But if you're coming to stay here long term, then you don't just want to be blowing a lot of money every single month. So this chapter is for you. So chapter 11 is your IDs and licenses. So this is where I go into full detail about the exact step-by-step process to get your national ID, your national ID and your driver's license, and how to go from, driving, if you've never driven before, how to go from learner's permit all the way to driver's license, every step that you need. And I learned this one much later. It was about a whole year after I stayed in Barbados before I figured all of this thing out. But it's good that you do it very quickly because there are so many benefits that I talk about in my other videos. But let's keep going. If you're enjoying this video and you like stuff like this, make sure you subscribe and like the video, comment, let me know your questions, and I answer everybody's questions. Okay, so finally we have part 4, which is settling down long term. So part 4, chapter 12 talks about choosing where to live. I break the island into 7 regions. This is my own classification of the island based on my experience, and it includes Bridgetown, South Coast, West Coast, Central Barbados, St. Philip, East Coast, and the North. And I talk about the characteristics of each place, transport access, who each location suits, everything you need to know, and it will help you pick where exactly you're going to live long term. And then chapter 13 is finding the right home. So after you've picked a region, there are still steps that you can take to pick a house, because many times when you are renting, you can get into a lot of troubles, and it causes many foreigners to then break their lease because they just absolutely hate the house. So I go through a step-by-step checklist, everything you need to check before you get the house. And then chapter 14, I talk about healthcare in Barbados, everything from 24 hours healthcare to the public healthcare system, navigating it. If you ever need help, this is what you need to read. Okay, chapter 15, I then go into residency and taxes. So these are people that are staying more long term. You need to know everything about what it means to be ordinarily resident in Barbados, the taxpayer categories, what income is taxed on, what exemptions are there for welcome stamp holders, and so on and so forth. This is not tax advice, but this is just based on what I know about Barbados and the laws in Barbados and so on and so forth. And finally, chapter 16 is path to citizenship. So if you stay here long enough, you may qualify for citizenship, permanent residency, and stuff like that. This law is currently being discussed in the Barbados government, but based on what it is right now, The book has everything you need to know about this, and as soon as it gets updated, I update the book, and everybody who has the old version of the book gets the new version at no extra cost. So if you like this video, you like the book, all you have to do is to scan the QR code that has been showing the entire time, and you can access the book, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.